In lack of finding the right word to best describe my next guest, I decided to honor him by using a tribute from Vogue. As they said it best, and accurately so, this man is unmissable. It's not just his looks that commands attention. The model, poet, author, artist, designer, and yes, entrepreneur is 6'7", bald, tattooed. With a spirit of independence, as he says, I can never be what somebody else wants me to be. I'm gonna be me. Please, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, welcome to Oris Erhuero, Vladimir McCrary. Yo, yo, yo.
There he is.
Vladimir McCrary. Welcome to Oris Sanctionary, brother.
Thank you.
We understand what that means.
Thank you for having me. I feel honored and blessed, for sure.
Oh man,
It's good to see you.
Thank you so
man.
much,
it's
brother.
really good to see you, brother.
About time. It's been a long time now. I mean, we're both from the same era. We're 80s, 90s phenomena.
Yeah.
Young men.
Yeah.
You know, we saw a lot of things. A lot of people came. A lot of people went.
Oof. And a lot of people keep on going.
A lot of people keep on going, right? But we'll get to that. But I want to start with this quote from you, because I know you write a lot of poems, and I can't wait to get hold of the book that you're working on. But we'll get to that. But this is like a $1 million for me morning dose. I like you. I meditate a lot, and we are very spiritual, not religious, but we are absolutely very spiritual.
Absolutely. Thank you to say it that way, brother.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, we come from a generation where, I mean, in ¡68, you know, the generation we came from, there was a lot of assassinations, right? People were assassinated. Great men were assassinated. We don't have to mention a name. We still want to keep in touch with people, and we don't want things to go over their head. But we came from an era where people who spoke the loudest was just taken out. It was just one of those things, and even down to the likes of you know, artists, talent. You know, people. People were triggered. So I think that probably breed a lot of very spiritual awareness without we going after it. So, you know, I could tell we're both from church backgrounds and, you know, Muslim back, you name it. But I want to touch on this quote to open this up as an homage to you, my friend, my brother. And this is what you wrote. Remember those words you said to me? Not aloud, but in your mind? I heard you. That is why I acted like I did. Remember, spiritual people don't need to hear your words. We feel who you really are long before you say a word. That is by you, Vladimir McCrary. Wow. Let's just start with that. Let's start with that.
That's a heck of a way to start, my brother. Let me touch on that, if I may.
Yes, sir.
I'm Cherokee Indian, you know, Native American background, and I grew up in the church, but the church didn't grow up in me. I used to, you know, be around my grandmother and stuff like that, and you know, as Native Americans do, we sit on the ground and listen to Mother. Our church is Mother Earth, you know. And nothing against the church, don't get me wrong, but I can't go into somebody else's house that they've built and be closer to God. I need to be in the house of God, sitting on the earth. So that's important. Religious people like to point fingers. Not all, don't get me wrong. They point fingers. Spiritual people point nothing. We just sit back and we look at how you act. We look at what you say. And there's no judgment. There's no judgment. for me personally, I can't speak for anybody else. I'm no angel. I look at what people say and do. Okay, I look at how they act. I look at what they've given me or taken away. But then I look at myself because you know what, brother, I can never look in your eyes without seeing me. That's the give and take of life. And you know, people look in each other's eyes and can just lie. But you're lying to yourself. Yes, you're hurting that person, but what are you doing to you? You see? So it's important to get away from that. I mean, I've been a liar in my life. I've lied. Who hasn't? But I've suffered from that. And at the ripe young age of 55, hey, I'm still learning. You know, I'm still learning. I'm still learning, and I'll never stop learning. Even when I'm gone, I'm never gone. I'm still learning. So it's important, man, that people get more in contact with their spirituality. It's beautiful to read these ancient books and knowledge, but those are ancient books and knowledge that we don't know who wrote them, except for the Quran. We don't know who deciphered them. We don't know the heart of the men, maybe even sometimes women, that wrote some of these passages. But we know how we feel. We know how we want to live life. We know how we want to raise our children. So I got away from, you know, being this person that had to prove something to people. You know, I have to prove to myself. How can I give to you, my brother? How can I give to my children if I'm lost? You know? So that's how I've grown up, man. You know, I'm gonna tell you something else, and I'll leave it like this because I want to ramble. The spiritual world is is a scary place. There's no games in the spirit world. No games. I don't know if I'm not going to touch on that too much
Mm,
deeper in other aspects because my spirit world is even deeper than that. I grew
mm.
up I grew up in a shamanistic background, so I won't go into that. That's something different. But please go ahead.
No, I, I just before we go on, yes, I think the spiritual world, as you know, before we started this call, we said, the likes of us, we come from an era of a lot of, you know, let's just prior to that era was World War II. People had just come out of it. It's fresh,
Yeah,
raw. People were then they came out of it, the depression. Then they finally had something to hold on to, and they were building. So the whole world was just building.
yeah,
Our parents, many of my parents and a lot of in Europe were from Africa, Jamaica.
right,
They came opportunity. They came to school. Many people went to school in places in Eastern Europe. A lot of
right,
Africans went to study. So there was a lot of different flares of belief system,
right.
and I think out of that Saul, we were immersed in that. You gotta understand people like Miles Davis, so a lot of jazz musicians, Dizzy Gillespie, all these guys were post World War II. They
Exactly.
hanged in Paris, and which takes us to how we met. The likes of us
Yeah,
again in the 80s, going into the early 90s, all met and congregated in Paris.
yeah,
That is interesting. You're based there now. You live there,
yeah.
um, but the reality of it, you went originally from Paris.
Mm-mm.
You came out of Texas as a young basketball player.
Yeah.
You toured, you did the Patrick Ewing and I believe
Magic
was it
Johnson.
Patrick Ewing, Magic Johnson, Patrick Ewing. Am I right?
Yeah, yeah.
You were part of their program, their tour. Walk me and people who don't know you through that process because it's yeah.
You know, that's brother. If I was to look at me, separate myself from me, and look at myself,
Mm,
I would say, wow, this guy has been through. He's been through a lot of beautiful hell in his life. I like to coin a phrase like that. You know, when I came back from Brazil, I was on a 9-month tour there, and I came back and I was staying with my brother in L.A. Big shout to Freemore, and I didn't have a place of my own, so I stayed with him. Never stayed with family. And so I came and I stayed there, and long story short, money went fast because I was trying to help him because I had to pay my way. I was in his home with his girlfriend, this and that, and I was on the basketball court every single day. I met a couple guys, and there was one brother, rest in peace, Don Talley, that would pick me up every day and take me. You're familiar with LA, of course. So he would take me over into the hood, and we would go over there and play. We went to the Hollywood YMCA. We played. Um, you had guys out there that wanted to bet and make money, and I just wanted to play the game. But if you come to me with a bet, you're going to lose your money. And so, I mean, we would do that every day. We would get up at 8 o'clock in the morning. He picked me up in his Z28, his orange Z28, and we would go to the other side of town and play basketball. So I was doing what I could, trying to get my next gig. So then I was also in the Lakers Combine. Lakers Combine is for those people that don't know, it's basketball players from either all over the world, because you have scouts coming from Europe. You have people from all over the world coming to this combine to show their talent and get picked up by teams, be it NBA, CBA, or be it the European League. And I was on a team. I was playing well and this and that, and I happened to meet a Black American guy that was a scout for European. So then, boom, I came over here through this gentleman on Magic Johnson's tour team, and we toured through Germany. We toured through parts of France. Uh, we toured through. I think we toured a little bit in Switzerland, maybe. And then after my tour was finished, I didn't get picked up, right? And so, but before that, when I was in LA, I had met this agency. I won't shout out the name, but I ended up taking some pictures, and I was 20, 25. I was about 25, 26 almost. Just cut like, I was 200 and 230 pounds, just neck like that. Just, you can see the veins. I was just cut, and big. And I went to this agency. I was walking in the street one day, and this car pulls up next to me and blows the horn. Hey, come here for a second. Of course, who's going to walk over to a car like that? He goes, please come here. So I took a couple of lessons. Man, what's up? Do you want a model? Now, I was a bit stupid and ignorant. I thought, oh, excuse me, what? Male models were gay. I didn't know no better. Hey.
True. I'm with you on that one. I was very ignorant myself.
It's nothing against.
Yeah.
It's nothing against my gay brothers and sisters. Love. That's not my point. My point is this.
Yeah, it's the era we came from.
Exactly.
It was the era we came from. People were harsh on people,
right. And I'm coming off the basketball court. I'm coming off the basketball court, and I've grown up getting elbowed in my mouth, getting nose broken, all that type of stuff. So, here's a person that approaches me in the street, which was weird in itself. But long story short, I go to this agency, meet the people there, meet the owner, and I go downtown. I knew nothing about LA really. I grew up there, but knew nothing about these areas. And I took a bunch of pictures, body shots, right? And then I ended up getting picked up by the scout that I told you, and we came to Europe. After my tour was finished, I had these pictures that weren't even developed yet. They were just a small little prints. I went to a few agencies. I went to I went to PH1. I went to, I forgot a couple more. What'd you say?
Yeah. Metropolitan, Ugly People. These are all the agencies in Paris.
Right. And I walked in there, and I walked in there just like I was naked. People didn't even look at me. The door opened up. I walked in like, hello. People were, so me, I got out. I walked out. So then one agency, I went in there. It was PH1. I went in there and they had this round table. And this girl was sitting in the corner. It was a girl. She's her first day at the job, 22 years old. But nobody else at that table even looked at me. I'm standing there. And so she walked over to me and took my little sheet, took it back in the back room to the owner, I believe. Came and she called me over. I went over. She goes, listen, I want you to go ahead and go to this place. Man, I'm walking through Paris. I'm lost. I don't know where I'm going. I know nothing of nothing. I get to now it's Châtelet, right? And I see on the corner a body shop store. The body shop. I look in the window, right? This gigantic image of me holding up a big jar of body shop pomade, for the body. The picture was me. The agency in Los Angeles sold my picture to the body shop for this major campaign. That was my introduction to this business. You see, and again, I'm not going to talk about the agency because I don't want to be liable. But at the same time, people that's going to watch this emission that we're doing right now, they need to understand what it is to be an artist, what it is to be in fashion, what it is to be in film, what it is to be in art, what it is to be in writing and poetry of that nature. You're going to get messed over in some way, shape, or form. And you're going to get messed over, and it's always going to be about liquid money. And I try to tell people that I know that have so-called regular jobs, you're lucky. You're very lucky because your payment is set. You go do your so-called amount of hours, and you get compensated for that. In our world, you have these contracts. My situation, these massive contracts. Yours too, is massive contracts. But what you and I don't know, under the table, you have that subcontract. So then, over the years in fashion, I learned this. Okay, you take your 20% off what's on the table, but I want 10% more of what you're getting under the table. So that was the way that I used to balance myself out. Because I said, listen, I didn't talk to agents. I went to the owners and talked to them. That way, I wanted to have a decor. I wanted to have an okay and understanding with these people, that you relay that to these people. And that's just how I do business, even still to this day. But it's changed. Now you have the so-called bookers, agents, owning the agency, and it's very it's multi-layered and it's complicated to deal with that because when I came back, I left fashion for in 1999. I left after my first daughter was born. I just did the Madonna bedtime story video. I just did a major campaign with Terry Mugler, rest in peace, Terry, in Hawaii. Yeah, and when I came back, and this was a I won't say contest, but it was an acknowledgement of high fashion models all over the world. I don't know how I won that. I'm not pretty. I'm just me. But with the grace of the Most High, they chose me, and I was honored. And but things happened after that. Um, I was approached by a situation where I had to leave. Um, I won't get involved in that as well, but I went to LA of all places, and I had to really consolidate my family and really put us in a bubble, because you don't get the highest honor in any business and walk away from it. because those people that are making money off your back want to make even more money. And if you know what I mean. And if you walk away or want to take a break, they'll try to break you. And that's kind of what I dealt with. And then when I came back after 10 years, my career was on hold. So I tell those people out there trying to become something in fashion, film, whatever the case, be prepared. Be prepared mentally, be prepared spiritually, even more than anything. Be prepared spiritually, because it's a fight. It's a fight to, you're being thrown a lot of money in your face, being thrown a lot of opportunity in your face. But what's being taken away from you is your individuality. What's being taken away from you is your footprint, your family name, to promote this corporation or this business, promote this agency or this manager. So people don't understand those small pieces. But you put all those small pieces together, it makes up the whole. I'm so fortunate, man, to have the opportunity to be a creative. I'm so fortunate to be able to talk to brothers like you, man, and I don't like the word on my level but I could say this: I could talk to people with my understanding. You see, it's important that people understand the world that we've grown up in is harsh. The corporate world is harsh. I know people, we know people in every aspect of professionalism, and
Yeah.
they all deal with their own harshness.
Yes.
But
And
but
talking go ahead.
please,
Go ahead. Yeah.
but
Talking about harshness.
yeah,
Yeah, and I think this is important, and it's just to add to what you're saying, and um, we know what that's like in our era when the eyes of the beholder, the photographers, the people that say, "Hey, I like you. Would you want to be a model?" They see things sometimes that people inside the industry do not see. For example, the agents, the managers, they I'm sure they came with the greatest of intent to cast people at the end of the day to make money. We can't I don't like to use the word superstars because I know superstars who don't have a money or dime today. I know people who've won the highest of award and don't have a dime to their name. But you gotta talk, you understand. So the reason I'm saying this, oh yeah, I know I hate that word superstar because it means that someone is shooting you up to watch you fall. So when I heard the word, I'm going like, ooh, I cringe when I heard the word superstar. It's a business because at the end of the day, the landlord, your kids, right? They ain't trying to hear that. They want that coat so they could stay warm in the winter. The landlord wants his money, so he doesn't care about that. And that's why I love landlords because we've dealt with those landlords. But where I'm going, where I'm trying to aim at is, you go into success, a lot of these agencies, and I'm sitting here and I'm going, wow, this it's nice to know the likes of myself wasn't the only one going through that, pounding those pavements in a foreign country with a map. I remember one day I just halfway through, I just stopped and I just sat on a park bench, in Champs Elysees. I was just like, pfft, and I literally squeezed the map and I just tossed it to the side. I just got really tired. I had gone to like 15 to 20 agencies like you, and nobody. And it's funny how you said it. You walk through the door, right? You've worked out the morning before. You're on your best look. Your hair's everything is just on point. You walk through the door, and you are nothing. You are nothing, and to them you are nothing but a piece of gum at your shoe. But here is the beautiful thing: because of our spirituality, did you always have that smile on your face, like, okay. if that's how you feel, without saying it, did that go through your head? Like you kind of smile because we're from the streets, right? You play ball, like you said, you get elbowed by the man to man on the street.
Right.
So it's almost like a joke, like you know what?
Right. Well, you know
So
what?
what was running through your head?
That's good that you say that, brother, because
Yeah.
I came into this so-called fashion world from already being a success. I came into this fashion business, this creative business, with my name. Now, you just said, you don't like the name superstar. I got one name, my brother. It's Vladimir. And that was one thing, and I tell my daughters, you don't let no one put a name on you that you're not. Your name is what your name is. I said, because those people that, and I'll go back to what you just said, those people that want to try to make you a star, the Most High has already made you a star. You see, never listen to the judgments of people that walk like you. I don't need to impress anyone that has no idea about my road. You're not. Let me touch on that. When I did, I'm jumping all over the place a little bit.
No, you're not. No,
My
you're
first
not.
show.
No, you're not. This is what Oris Erhuero is about, man. Some shows I'm like this, and some shows I'm like all over the
Right.
place. But at the end of the day, I go to bed going, "That was therapy. I'm happy.
Exactly.
Who cares?" So please, I'm sorry.
When I went to my first casting with this young woman I told you about at the agency, I went there and I was lost, but it was cold and rainy. It was Paris. So I get over to Rue Vivian, which that area over there was over by Bourse, where they had the big BMP. And that's where this gentleman had his casting. I knew nothing about that world. So I get over there and I'm looking at easily 400 or 500 people there. People can't take that visual. 400 or 500 people. That's a lot.
And it sounds like an exaggeration, but it isn't.
Man, not even close. And so I'm like, I'm looking at all these people. I'm just like, what's going on here? What is it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not stupid. It's fashion. Okay, boom. So after about, I don't know, hour and a half or more, I get to the stairway, which is a winding stairway. And I start hearing, way back in the entrance, I start hearing people clapping. I turn around, I can see over everyone. And people are like, moving. Here comes this little guy with blonde hair running. I was like, who is this guy? So I was about to go up the stairs. I'm standing like about to take my first step. And he came to me, he goes, "You're the guy with the tattoo on your back." I said, yeah. He goes, "I see you upstairs." That man was Jean-Paul Gaultier.
By the way, did he have a fruit bowl on this table? Did he have the bowl with fruits on this table? Because usually he always has, when you get upstairs, he would say, "Hey, take a fruit, sit down, sit down."
But he did have some cookies, though.
Bless him. You gotta love John Paul Gaultier now. He's a character. And did he do, I have to interject this now. So when you got upstairs, did he do one of these numbers? Looking at you?
He did. Well,
because he gets to a point where he doesn't need to look at the book.
But check it out. I didn't have a book. I had nothing.
Oh, wow.
But what I didn't know was the girl at my agent was friends with them already. That's how I got this casting. So I had a couple little pages that the agency put together just to be able to walk around with. I don't know what I'm doing, man. But I'm gonna tell you something, man. I grew up in sports. I grew up in a hard area. I grew up with the gun and the knife in Texas. I'm not trying to impress nobody. That's just fact. I grew up in the sticks, man. I grew up around nothing. I look at my back window in my house, it's forest. That's how I grew up. Mosquitoes, snakes, all this stuff. And so anyway, so it didn't matter to me about people's judgments. But this is what tripped me out. I show him the book, and when he looked at 2 or 3 pages, he closed the book. He goes, "Okay, can you go down there and walk to me?" So in my heart, I'm gonna speak how I speak. In my heart mindset, I said, "Man, what's this bullshit? What you talking about? Walk to you walk." So I got down there. He goes, okay, just walk. I said, what? He said, just walk. Now I got all this muscle and I have bow legs. Je sais pas le nom en français. Cowboy legs, whatever. So I walk how I walk. I walk, I walk how I walk. He goes, okay. He goes, go back in the back and try this on. I said, okay, cool, man. That's how I talk. That's how, right before I go back around the corner, he goes, oh, by the way, I go, yeah. He goes, you're in my show. I said, okay, cool. It goes over my head. My first show. My first show. I'm just like, okay, cool. So I got back to my agency. You got the show. Go ahead.
And let me stop you. Let me stop you there for a second. You know what? I won't be fair. I want you to flow on this. Go ahead. So you got back to the agency real quick. Let you finish your favorite thought.
Got back to the agency.
Yeah.
And they go, Vlad, you got the show. I was like, okay. For me, man, it was okay. I didn't know any the importance of it or whatever the case. It was just okay. I get another opportunity to put my father's name out there.
Yes.
And so,
But the reason I said that, it's such an amazing feeling that the reason why we work towards a goal is to meet people at the pinnacle of their place on earth, like the Jean Paul Gaultier, Gianfranco Ferré. I remember going through the same thing you went through. 500 people, 300 people sometimes, if I'm lucky. And many just go through your book like this. My favorite, because we all used to have a portfolio of pictures, right? They go, or then you have someone that actually goes, look back at you. They look back at you. Or you have someone that does this, like Jean Paul Gaultier, after 2, 3, as in my case, it was Gianfranco Ferré. He does this. He wants to talk. He wants to know about you. Now, mind you, there's thousands of people at the door lining up. Then all of a sudden, he shows so much interest in you that you forget all the people that shut the doors at the agencies, those agencies. It's just the most beautiful thing in the world when you have that moment.
Right. Very nicely put. Very nicely
of appreciation.
Put.
You know what I mean? When you go, where you really can say to people, I'm sorry, but they ain't all that bad.
Right.
You understand? But we need to go through that.
Of course. It's mandatory.
You understand?
It's mandatory.
Yeah, it's like basketball, right? It's like we all go into basketball thinking, and I've seen this, man. You've seen this. I'm sure you've seen it. You've seen guys, they come in like, if their ego didn't get in the way, they would have been Michael Jordan times 10. Then boom, they get an injury.
Man, I tell you something.
Over.
Let me with love and respect. Let me cut in right here. Those guys that come into a gym, I'm gonna make some people laugh listening to this. Those guys that come into the gym with all this chip on their shoulder. Let me tell you the fastest way to take away somebody's chip: hit them in the mouth with an elbow. Now listen, that's how I grew up. And I wasn't a dirty player, but at the same time, I'm not about to play no game with you. You elbow me, and I would sometimes let people dominate me. Life is psychological. I don't give a damn how you look. I don't give a damn what you think you know. Here first. Build this, construct that, and keep going forward. Because in your life, be it basketball, be it film, be it whatever, if your mind is not on point, you will lose. And like I know, man. Go back to fashion.
Yes, it's interesting. So now you here you are. You just casted with one of the biggest designer that every male model and female model of that era is dying to meet. And I think one of the things that saved the likes of you and I, because of the environment wherever we were in the world we grew up in, we were so disciplined to never put people on a pedestal. So our attitude is, and this is where we gotta give an homage to our neighborhood and our upbringing. You're raised to respect yourself, not to go into a situation and go, oh, I've gotta work for him. Oh. You're like, no, well, if this thing called fashion, they said I could make a little bit of money, so be it. And I think that it was your saving grace, that when you walked into the agency, they said, oh my God, they're looking at you differently. Everyone in the round table is like, wow, he booked Gautier. You know how they talk, like, huh? You know, they start going back and forth. And all of a sudden now you are like, maybe we should put our money on our bet on you. Did you kind of felt that, or you didn't? Or it was only till, how did that go? Until when you went to the fitting, they booked you in for the fittings. And I mean, just walk us through the steps for those who didn't know the fashion and how it ran at that end. Because a lot of people, me and you know, that first week, walking and seeing 300, 500 people quit the business that same day.
Hey,
Never came back. You know that.
First of all, brother, stop saying you and me. You're a smaller guy. No. I'm not taking nothing from you. As my point is, you and me in fashion, in terms of how we look. Okay, maybe we shared something, but brother,
yeah, but you are missable.
You were over here, I was over there. I was so alone because I'm 6'7". You fit the clothes, so you went to a fitting. They had to make my shit. They had nothing that fit me. They had to measure me. I mean, let me backtrack on this. I'm gonna make you laugh.
I need to stop you there.
Go ahead.
I need to stop you there because when I went my first casting ever in Milan, when I walked in, I couldn't fit my jacket because I was really huge, right? Like we were ripped. I don't know what it is about that era, but we were naturally really ripped. And I remember wearing this, at Gianfranco Ferre's office, and I just put the thing in, and I couldn't fit it in. And I heard someone went, and I was so embarrassed. Like, I felt so ashamed. Guess what he did? He walked over and he ripped off the sleeves, ripped off the other sleeve, and he put my hand right through. His focus was the body. And that made me I felt so bad. I thought, why is he doing that? But that's the way he worked, because he really wanted me in the show. Some of these guys love that physicality. So that physicality was also a mega blessing, and it showed that for them, it's the fact that you of all people take the time out to train, to work out, to come with this package. I applaud you, and I'm gonna make something that's gonna fit you, to fit my show.